going to look at the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet, Act Two, Part One, the close read. And of course, I'm showing you how to get there. So here are the questions we're going to go over. We're going to go over question number 2 and question number 5. So let's look at question number 2. Identify iambic pentameter. Please highlight in green lines 19 to 20 featuring successive rhyming lines in Mercutio's speech. Based on the meter of Mercutio's speech, what are Mercutio's thoughts about Romeo's feelings for Rosalind? Okay, so we're going to look at that speech. And there are several ways to look at this speech. Okay, we can use My Romeo and Juliet. We can use Spark Notes, or we can use your textbook. So I am asking you to figure out why he is telling him these things. Okay, so when we look at it, I'm going to use the Spark Notes version. And what he's saying here is the silly ape is dead, but I must make him appear. I summon you by Rosalind's bright eyes, by her high forehead and her red lips, by her fine feet, by her straight legs, by her trembling thighs, and by the regions right next to her thighs. Now, if we were to translate, that is the modern version. Let's look at what it says in Shakespearean English. The ape is dead, and I must conjure him. I conjure thee by Rosalind's bright eyes, by her high forehead and her scarlet lip, by her fine foot and straight leg and quivering thigh. Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. He is talking about Rosalind's nether region. And why is he talking about that? Well, we know the reason he's talking about that because we've read earlier that they have just left the Capulet party and they can't find him. He has gone missing. And please remember that Romeo has been moping in his room with black curtains drawn inward because Rosalind rejected him and decided to remain a virgin for the rest of her life. And so they are mocking him like, dude, where are you? We just left a party in your enemy's house and we can't find you. Where are you? Oh, you're moping for this girl who rejected you. So you know the way we're going to find you? We're going to find you by making jokes about her nether region. Okay, so that is what they are talking about right there. I'm going to let you answer questions number 1 and questions number 2, and then we're going to continue. Okay, we're going to continue with question number 5. Let's look at question number 5. Close read, lines 116 to 124. Give examples of repeated words and phrases. Why do you think Juliet repeats herself so often in this short speech? And what is the effect of this repetition? Okay, I have several ways of looking at this. And I wanted to show you something. I'm terribly sorry I didn't show you this earlier. But you are allowed to go in and set up an account with My Shakespeare yourselves. I don't know if there's a cost to this or not. I'm not paying the cost, but you guys are more than willing to go in and set yourselves up an account and you can take notes in that account. You can also, of course, go to Spark Notes and you can also use your textbook. For this question, I'm going to use the textbook. So I ask you to look for words that are repeated. And one of the things that I notice when I read this is she's using the adverb to a lot. Too rash, too unadvised, too sudden, too like the lightning. And then she uses lightens again. And then she says, good night, good night, good night. And the question is asking you, why does she repeat herself? She repeats herself because she knows that they are moving too quickly. And she is telling him, good night, we're moving too fast. This is going too fast. We're being impetuous and we just need to slow this down. However, let's look at the rest of the question. The rest of the question is, what is the effect of this repetition? So, what is the effect of this repetition is Romeo says, "Oh, will thou leave me so unsatisfied?" And then she says, "What satisfaction canst thou have tonight?" And then he says, "Thy exchange of thy love's faithful vow for mine." And then she says, "Well, I gave thee mine before thou didst request it, and yet I would, it were, to give again." Okay, and so what happens there is she continues talking to him. After he says, which is pretty suggestive to me, "Well, wilt thou leave me so unsatisfied?" Okay. She continues talking to him. And Romeo stays. And what they do later is they set up a time to meet the next day. And what do they set up to meet the next day? They set up to meet to get married. Because she says 3 words, dear Romeo, and good night indeed. If that thou bent, if thy purpose or intention of love be honorable, thy purpose marriage, send me word tomorrow by one that I'll procure to come to thee, where and what time thou wilt perform the rite, and of my fortunes at thy foot I'll lay, and follow thee, my lord, throughout the world. She just proposed marriage to Romeo. She just set up a time for them to meet and to set up so they can get married. And so at first she says, "Wait a minute, we're moving way too fast." And then Romeo says, "Oh, you'll leave me so unsatisfied." And then she just continues talking to him. And then she asks him to marry her. And she says, "Look, I'll set up the meeting so we can get married." What Juliet is being here is she's being very indecisive here. We're moving too fast, but then she sets up a time for them to meet tomorrow so they can get married. I will let you answer this question and then we will continue. Okay, students, we are going to now discuss something. Please ask questions when you don't understand something. So for number 3 and number 4 and number 6, if there's something in there that you do not understand, I want you to please ask me questions. It is my job to answer questions. And how can you answer questions, darlings? Here are the ways. Students may ask questions during class. They can send me an email at tcollins@ebrschools.org. You can send me a remind text, or you can ask questions in GoGuardian. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.